Tonight's True Scary Story is the extended version of I Think I Sold My Soul to the Devil for a Music Career. Now, I posted a shorter video of this on TT. This is actually coming from an influencer on TT. This is the full story. Now, he submitted this story to me in hopes that we could give him answers because he is really anxious about it. He doesn't know whether he did or not, but by the end of this story, you may just think that he did. Now, before we get started, I do want to address something. I know that you guys haven't seen me in like a week, but there's a reason for it. I have been doing some research on a story and I finally got it finished. It's like an hour long and it's about the Smurls family, which is one of the most vicious hauntings to ever be recorded in America. So you guys are really gonna love it. I'm excited to post it, but that's why I was absent for the past week. It will not happen again. I'm just letting you guys know, and I really hope that you enjoy the story and I hope you enjoyed this one. So let's get started. Now, tonight's submitter's name is Jack, and in the winter of 2024, he was over at his grandfather's house, and his grandfather was having company over, specifically this couple from Pennsylvania. And Jack talked to this couple for a while, and he grew a liking to them. They got along very well, but he didn't think he would ever see this couple again. Well, about a month later, they reached out to him. They texted him. Apparently, his grandfather had given them his number, and they wanted to gift him a guitar. This guitar belonged to their recently deceased son. Now, Jack was in the military. He was a combat veteran, and they also had somebody in their family that was a veteran, and so they took a liking to him. And this is why they wanted to gift the guitar to him. Now, he didn't know the details of the passing, and he didn't want to pry and be rude, so he didn't ask. But it eventually did get brought up. Now, they were in their 80s, and they said that they never really figured out what happened, but that it was possibly food vaccines. So Jack was a little hesitant to take this guitar, knowing that it was from a recently deceased person. Maybe it was just his superstition, but he was weary about it. But he liked this couple. They were really sweet and he didn't want to be rude, so he took the guitar. And this is when the strangeness happened. So the guitar would sit in his living room for about 2 months. He did not touch it at all, but he would walk past the guitar and he would get this strange feeling of just wanting to play the guitar, which was weird for him because he had never played an instrument before. He had tried it when he was younger, but he was not good at it at all. Well, one day he was bored and he thought to himself, you know what, screw it. I'm going to try playing this guitar. So he does. He picks it up and he starts playing it. And surprisingly enough, he actually learns how to play it fairly quickly. Almost like he had a natural inclination to do it, which he does not. He knows that he doesn't. However, 2 months later, he's able to play it and he's able to play 10 to 12 songs. And he's played for musicians in his area who were shocked to find out that A, he was playing the guitar, and B, that he had learned these songs so quickly. Then a weird series of things started happening, a series of coincidences which were so rare, especially when stacked up upon one another. Now, he thought this was odd, but he thought maybe it was just a message from God because he believes in God. An example of one of these coincidences is when he went to his doctor's office. So he goes to his doctor's office and he tells his doctor that he had taken up playing the guitar. And his doctor's like, oh, that's great. I actually have an artist that I really like. I can't think of the name though, and I haven't heard it in a really long time. I can't think of the song either. It's bothering me. Well, Jack ends up leaving the office later on that day to find out that his doctor had went to lunch, gotten back in his car after lunch was over, turned on the radio, and that song that he hadn't heard in forever was playing. Well, about 8 to 10 more coincidences would follow after this. Now, Jack is a very mathematical person, so he did the math of this, and the math of this is in the trillions. It doesn't make any sense. And all of these coincidences were related to music. And all of this, again, made him feel like this was a sign from God and made him devote more time to playing the guitar. The next thing that happened is he used to keep his guitar obviously outside in his living room, like I said before, and he would be laying in bed, falling asleep, when all of a sudden he would hear a strum of the guitar. And this happened like multiple times before finally he was like, you know what? This is super weird. I'm going to grab the guitar. I'm going to put it in my room. Maybe it'll happen in front of me and I can figure out what the hell is going on. So he does that, but the guitar never strums again. Then another time, he was sitting at the end of his bed and he heard somebody whisper from behind his left shoulder. He turns around really quickly to try to figure out who it is. There is no one there, obviously, but he knows he heard it. Now, he does have a series of mental health issues from being in combat, but none of them have anything to do with hallucinations, and he does not drink at all, and he does not do drugs at all. So this was very odd to him because he had never experienced anything paranormal before, and this to him was paranormal. Now, a couple weeks ago, he makes the decision to go down to Mississippi because he wants to refine some of his guitar work, and he also wants to learn some new things. He did this so he could hopefully come back and do content and play music for people. So one day, he's down in Mississippi, he's playing the guitar, and he feels somebody grab his left shoulder lightly. He looks back really quickly because this is the same shoulder that he heard the whispering at before, and no one is there again. Now, Jack said that normally something like this would really scare him, but he actually felt comfort from this. He was not scared at all. And then after that, for the next couple of weeks, he would feel a pressure on the left side of his body whenever he would play. This pressure was almost like somebody was leaning over him, watching him play the guitar from behind him, again, on the left side of his body. Then he took some videos and pictures of himself playing the guitar, and in one of the videos, he notices something. As he's playing the guitar, a small white disc is forming over his head, and then it forms into a small cloud, and then it moves right above his head. The cloud is in like circular formation, and normally this can be explained away, right? But what's not explainable is that this cloud defied the laws of physics. So he looked at the video of him playing with the cloud, and he discovered that the cloud formed over the Pocono Mountains, which were dozens of miles away from him, traveled all that distance, and formed a circle over his head, and instantaneously creating a cloud over his head. And this happened in a completely clear blue sky in 20 seconds. Now, he noticed this after he played. He watched the video, and as soon as he noticed it, he ran outside to see where that cloud was, and the cloud had disappeared. And here's the video of that happening. It's pretty crazy. There's a clear blue sky and just one cloud forming super fast over his head. Then one day, while he was getting ready to go to Mississippi, he had actually taken a video of him playing the guitar and he was going to send it to his friend. So he's going through his camera roll when he notices something. There's a picture in his camera roll, one that he did not take. I mean, it could have accidentally been taken, but it's odd because there's a face in it. In fact, there are two faces in it. In the photo, you can make out the left side of someone's body and the left side of someone's face. And what's weird about it is it was white and had a black eye. At first, he was like, is that an alien? And then he was like, wait, it looks like it has white hair. And then another person on TT, when he posted it on TT, noticed that there was a second face. Like I said, except for this face looked more human. Now I'm going to show you the picture. It's right here. Do you guys see the two faces? Because I see it. Then a couple days ago, he's at his doctor's office and he's walking down the regular hallway and he gets a notification on his phone. He looks down at his phone and then he notices something is flickering above his head. So he looks up and there's a light just flickering above his head. Now, this would normally be, you could kind of explain this away by it being an electrical issue, but this had actually happened to him in his bedroom, his bathroom, and in his kitchen. And I'm going to show you the video of that right now.
The light started going off here. I stopped here to check something and then boom, the light just starts flickering.
Now, he also thinks it's important to mention that during this time, he started having some unusual dreams. Now, he doesn't dream. Because he was a combat veteran, it was very hard for him to go to sleep and is very hard for him to go and stay to sleep. So his doctor had prescribed him some sleeping medication. This particular medication makes it so that you don't really dream, or you don't remember your dreams at least. And he started having dreams about the guitar and he was remembering the dreams vividly. In the first dream, he was playing the guitar and he was really good at it. And he was playing songs that he couldn't wait to learn. And it felt so real and lucid. And then his next dream, all of a sudden, he's playing the guitar on a stage in front of a few people. And then in the next dream, he's playing the guitar on a stage in front of a bunch of people. He said that it wasn't like a huge concert, like not one that you would see by your favorite artist, like a recent artist, but it was a good amount of people. And this just made him want to play the guitar even more. Almost like he had a responsibility to do this, and that like one day he was going to be playing in front of a bunch of people. And he again explains this by being a sign from God. Meanwhile, he's still playing the guitar, but he's getting this feeling that he really needs to hone in on playing the guitar. He needs to take a break from social media and just a break from everything to learn how to really play the guitar very well. He wanted to perfect his skills so that he could come back and make content and play for his followers. So he goes to Mississippi, the Delta. He wants to go see the Robert Johnson Museum. And he wanted to talk to some of the people that were from there. He was one of his favorite guitarists. And Jack loves history too, and it seems like Robert Johnson had some strange things going on in his life as well. There's actually a Netflix documentary on Robert Johnson, and when he got down to Mississippi and met up with his coach, he immediately brought up Robert Johnson. His coach immediately started telling him about Robert, both the folklore and also reality. Jack also brought up to his coach that he knew that when Bob Dylan started playing the guitar, he also wasn't good at the guitar until he went down to the Mississippi crossroads. He took some time off. He went to the crossroads, he came back, just like Jack was trying to do, and then he became Bob fucking Dylan. Jack's a pretty open-minded guy, but he never really believed in anything paranormal or had experienced anything paranormal before any of this. But he was warned by people on TT and also people in person to be very careful when he went down to the crossroads, because Jack had in fact decided that he was also going to go down to those crossroads. Now I'll tell you a little bit about the Bob Dylan legend, okay? So apparently Bob Dylan went down to the Mississippi crossroads and he met the devil himself, where he exchanged his soul for exceptional guitar skills. The myth has been deeply embedded in blues and folklore, and some scholars suggest it may have originated from a combination of Robert Johnson's protege talent and his early mysterious death. So Jack waited until midnight and he went to the exact crossroads that Robert Johnson and Bob Dylan went themselves. At first, all he could hear was the crickets and not really see or hear anything else. Well, nothing happened that night, and he went for several nights and nothing happened on any of those nights. But his last night there would be different. So his last night there, he's playing some songs and he gets this feeling like he's being watched in some sort of way. People were driving by. He even saw some people walking down the road. But then a man walked up to him. He was very well dressed. 6'3", 6'4", pale white, black hair that was combed over. He didn't look like he belonged in the Delta. He looked like a city guy or even a stockbroker, and he parked his car about 50 feet away, and Jack could tell that it was some type of Mercedes, so this guy did well for himself. He also had this creepy smile with bright white teeth. He walks up to him and he says, "You're here for Robert Johnson, aren't you?" And Jack says, "I am." Then he asked Jack how badly he wanted to be a musician, and he told him very badly. So he said, "Give me your guitar." And Jack was hesitant. It was his only guitar. And also he knew the folklore. So he didn't really want to do it, but he gave him the guitar. The guy starts playing it and he plays exceptionally well. Jack is surprised by this. The man then asks him, "Do you realize the sacrifices and consequences that come with being a musician?" And Jack says, "I do." The man then smiles at him, and a chill goes down Jack's spine. Then the man goes to hand him the guitar back, and he was scared to death to take that guitar back. Knowing the folklore and legend surrounding this, what was he accepting? But he did it. He took it back. It was once again his only guitar. The man then looks at Jack and says, "I have to go now, but I'll see you again, and I'm excited to hear you play for me one day." Jack's like, "What do you mean?" The man then replied, "Oh, nothing to be concerned about. I meant when you make it." And then that creepy smile formed across his face again, almost like that movie Smile. Ugh. And then the guy turns around and he walks away. Jack was a little alarmed by this, but he spoke to some of the musicians in that area, and they actually weren't surprised at all. They did not find the story strange one bit. Shockingly enough, they said that musicians have been coming down to those crossroads for a long time. He thought it was only Robert Johnson and Bob Dylan, but apparently he was wrong. They are true believers down there. There was no maybe this or maybe that. They had told him what he had just done. This had a massive impact on him though. He's more focused on music than ever before, and he's also more scared than ever before. But then Jack gets more bold and he decides that he's going to go to the cemetery where Robert Johnson used to practice. Basically, he just did what Dylan did, which was crossroads first, then cemetery next. He gets to the cemetery, he finds a respectful place to sit, and he begins playing. Now, he's heard all the hoodoo legends about haints from past and future will come and teach you things that you didn't know before that will ultimately make you better at whatever instrument you are playing. It was pitch dark in the cemetery, and normally he would be afraid of this, but again, he had no fear at all whatsoever. Almost comfort again. After he played the songs that he knew, he decided to play one that he was currently working on. So he says out loud, "If anyone can help me with this song, I would appreciate it." First attempt, he still can't do it right. Then he tries it again, he nails it. perfect. It's an expert level song, and he's only been playing for about 9 weeks now, a little over 2 months. And he's been working on the song for weeks. But for some reason in the cemetery, it just clicked. Also, he's a smoker, and he's noticed recently that his smoking has been catching up with him. Sometimes it's hard to breathe, especially when he's running or doing anything strenuous. But after he left the crossroads, he felt this opening up of his chest and his lungs. He could finally breathe better and breathe more clearly than he's ever been able to breathe for a long time since he started smoking. His lungs feel like he's never smoked a day in his life. He even tested it by holding his breath, and he was able to hold his breath for way longer than he's been able to hold it for a very long time. That's just not normal. You normally have to quit and then wait like a decade for your lungs to regenerate to get to this point. And not only has this made him better at singing, but he's been able to hit higher notes, which were things he could not do when he had that clogged, raspy type of voice from the smoke. Now, when Robert Johnson and Bob Dylan both visited the crossroads in the cemetery, they took some time off to perfect their skills, and he feels the need to do this as well. So after this is posted, he is going to go dark for a little bit. He will be monitoring these videos and answering questions, of course, but he really wants to focus on his career playing the guitar. Now here's the craziest part. The next day he goes down to the studio and he tells the guys in the studios that he went down to the crossroads and he went to the cemetery and that he wants to play the guitar for them. So they let him. He plays the guitar for them. And the craziest part, this was almost meant to be, because one of the guys there was an A&R manager for folk rock, and country label. But he didn't know this, so he went in the booth and he played a cover. He did the guitar work and then he did the audio. And to his amazement, afterwards, that manager handed him his card and said he would like him to come down for an audition. He found this to be very sus, because just the night before, he had been told something like this at those crossroads, and then the very next day, this happens. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think happened here? Do you think that he sold his soul to the devil? Because I will tell you, he wouldn't tell me if he did or not. So that is open for discussion, because I don't know whether he did or not. He wouldn't say so. So you guys have to figure it out on your own. But what he did say is that he is a little nervous. He is a little anxious about this, and he wants to know what you guys think. Do you think he sold his soul to the devil? And if he did, what do you think he should do? And also, what do you think of this story? That's a crazy story, and I'm very interested to see where his music career takes him. I said this on TT and I'll say it again. He is an awesome dude. I have been talking with him back and forth through email, and he really is such a nice person, and I truly want him to succeed. I hope that one day I see him performing on a stage in front of millions, or not millions, but thousands and thousands of people. That would be amazing, and I wish that for him. What I don't wish for him is for him to eventually have to die young and sell his soul to the devil. If that was the devil who he saw, what do you guys think? I will say that what I think is interesting is that he felt like he was getting signs from God at first, and then it turned ironically into him meeting maybe the devil. So God was apparently giving him signs at first, like, hey, listen, play the guitar. The guitar itself seemed to give him signs, like, hey, play with me. And then he went to the crossroads, and then it went to going from, I think God is giving me signs, to I'm going to go see if I can potentially see what happens if I go to the crossroads and meet the devil. So drop all comments, thoughts, opinions in the comment section, whatever you guys think, but just try to stay respectful, because like I said, he really is a nice guy. So I really hope you guys liked this story. I thought it was super, super interesting. It did pretty well on TT, so hopefully you guys liked it here. This did take me a really long time to put together. Even though he sent it to me through emails, it was like in a bunch of different emails, and I kind of had to like combine the story in different parts, because the parts were sent to me like very sporadically. So not only did I have to put it together, but it also took me a very long time to tell it on both here and TT. So if you guys appreciate my work, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. Also, if you guys could hit that subscribe button so that you can get notified next time I tell a true scary story that you guys submit to me. And with that being said, I'm of course now going to do my favorite part, which is the shout outs. My first shout out is going to Ruby Ramirez 9308. You left such a sweet comment underneath one of my videos, and you comment a lot, and I appreciate you so much, girl. Thank you so much for being so supportive, supporting my channel, and just being a nice person. You have no idea what that means to me, and I love you for it, so thank you, girl. I love you. My second shout out is going to Gypsy Rain Goddess 1. You also left a sweet comment. Thank you so much for caring about my toothache. It was so bad. It has gotten better, and I am going to go to the dentist. It's taking me forever to be able to go to the dentist. It's awful, but you're so sweet for asking, and I really appreciate you. I appreciate you commenting and supporting me. It means the world to me, and I love you guys, and I hope you know that, and I love you, girl. Thank you so much. And with that being said, my name is Kaisa, and I tell true scary stories on here every single night that you guys submit to me. So if you're into that, hit that subscribe button so you can get notified next time I tell a true scary story. And I just need you to do 3 things for me. And what are those? Keep sending me your scary stories. Have a safe night. Please have a safe night. And what's the third one? Say it with me. Have a spooky night. Love you guys so much. See you in the next one. Spooky kisses and haunted hugs.